Welcome back to the Scotti-BYTE channel, and this is Scott. So this is video number 200, and thank you for supporting the channel to each and every one of my subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll subscribe. So Linux has multiple package managers to install software. Windows only recently added a package manager called Winget, and prior to that, they had a package manager called Chocolatey. So package managers are useful because they manage dependencies as well as installing the actual software package. And packages can be installed using apt in Ubuntu and DNF in Red Hat, CentOS, and Fedora 22 Plus. And as the slide shows, Red Hat, CentOS, and Fedora in earlier versions uses Yum. And then the zipper package manager, which is RPM packages, is used in OpenSUSE, and Pacman is used in the Arch and Manjaro derived distributions. So a package manager is often central in a person's choice of one distro versus another. And which package managers are in Ubuntu? Well, the native package installer in Ubuntu is apt or aptitude. There is a front end for apt that's called Nala, which I'm going to go over in this video, and it provides some nicer formatting and options for apt. So the apt package manager is used by all Debian distros such as Debian, Ubuntu, Pop! OS, Zorin, Kali Linux, Deepin, Linux Mint, and MX Linux, and I'm sure others as well. Ubuntu also has the canonical centralized snap store, which allows installing packages via snaps. So there are other types of installers that we also need to understand. And these are generally referred to as Linux sandboxed installers. Container-based installation systems include Snap, Flatpak, and appimages. And advantages to sandboxed package managers is that they ensure component signatures and provide all dependencies so the app is assured to run properly. And the disadvantage of Snap sandboxed package managers is that they require more disk space, more memory, and they often have slower startup times, but not always. And if you can't get a package running properly on your system, consider using a Snap, a Flatpak, or an appimage instead of installing it using the apt package manager. So there are some options with your sandboxed installations. First of all, we have Snap, as I mentioned earlier, and that is a canonical proprietary product. It's centralized and it's designed for Ubuntu. And Snap packages can be installed on both servers and desktops. And Flatpak works across multiple distros, including Ubuntu, and is distributed with multiple repositories and is targeted at desktop GUI applications and not servers. And something else that's worth mentioning is that although Snap is canonical based, it was developed as an open source application. It's just controlled by Canonical, whereas Flatpak was developed completely in the open source realm, and that's why people tend to like it a little bit better. So Flatpak applications have a slightly faster startup time than do Snaps. And Linux Mint, as an example, comes with Snap, and it's a Debian-derived application, but the Snap is disabled on Linux Mint, and Flatpak is installed by default. It is the sandboxed manager for Mint. So app images are completely standalone executable images that don't need to be installed, but they contain all dependencies to allow an application to run. And there are over 2,100 Flatpaks in the FlatHub, but there are around 5,100 snaps in the Snap Store. And let's go take a look at how to use apt, snaps, flatpaks, and app images. Here we are at an Ubuntu desktop, and if you don't happen to have Snap installed, the command to install it is sudo apt install snap, and you provide your sudo password. And then in this particular case, Snap was not installed, and Snap is being installed. Before we learn about Snap, let's go ahead and install the front end to apt, which I mentioned earlier, called Nala. We do that by putting in the command to install Nala, which is going to add the Nala repository, and then we're going to go ahead and add the keys for that. After we do that, we're going to do a sudo apt update, which will go ahead and update the repository that we just added. And then we're going to do a sudo apt install on Nala. Go ahead and say yes, and it will finish installing the Nala front-end package manager to apt. After Nala completes installing, the first thing you want to do is do a sudo Nala fetch. What this does is it goes out and tests all of the Ubuntu mirrors to determine which ones are the faster ones to install your components. And then once it gets done with this test, you'll be able to tell it which mirrors to choose by default. So now it gives me a list. I'm just going to go ahead and pick the first three, and I'll just say 1, 2, and 3 would be my preferences for which package or which repositories to choose packages from. And I'll go ahead and say yes. And of course, you can do sudo Nala fetch at any point in the future. Most of the commands in Nala are identical to the commands that we would have in apt, so I'm going to do a sudo Nala update. And it will go out and update the repositories and see which upgrades are available. Notice it now says that there's 6 packages that can be upgraded, so I'll go ahead and give it a sudo Nala upgrade. And the upgrade command will also be similarly nicely formatted. And so it comes up and it tells me which packages can be updated. And then I'll say, yes, go ahead and continue, and it will go ahead and upgrade them. What I like about Nala is it tells us the old version of the package and also the new version of the package. And just like apt, you have the option to update individual packages if you so desire. Now let's go install a new package using Nala with sudo apt install Firefox to install the Firefox web browser. And you'll notice that it comes back and says that Firefox is already at its newest version, and it is running via a snap if you look very carefully here, which is kind of interesting. So let's go ahead and fire up Firefox. When I click on Firefox, we wait a little bit more, and we continue to wait. And this is the problem that we have with certain snaps, and Firefox is one of those. And a lot of people have had a problem with Ubuntu's implementation of Firefox as a snap in Ubuntu 22.04, and we can go off and go ahead and fix that. Notice it still hasn't come up. It should come up. It really should come up. I'll click it a second time. And there it finally comes up. So as you can see, it is slow, slow, slow. So let's go ahead and remove Firefox as a snap, and we're going to do that with a sudo snap remove Firefox. So part of the problem with this is even once we remove it as a snap, if we turn around and install it with apt, it will actually install as a snap anyway. So I have a workaround to this, and the workaround is to set the snap package as a lower priority than the APT package, and this way the APT package will install with priority. Now that Firefox has been removed as a snap, I'm going to issue this command, and it goes ahead and changes that install priority. Next, we add the Mozilla repository to get the latest version of Firefox. And once it's added, then we should be able to do a install of Firefox. Since we added the new repository, we're going to do a sudo nala update. And finally, a sudo nala install Firefox. And Firefox is what we want to add, so we go ahead and say yes, and it goes out to install Firefox. Now that Firefox is installed through Nala, it's installed as an APT package rather than a snap, and if we go up here and launch Firefox, it'll come up almost immediately. And there we go. So that is much faster than the snap that we had coming up earlier, and that's one of the reasons why people prefer to have the Firefox web browser installed as a APT package as opposed to having it installed as a snap. There are some packages that either aren't available through APT, or sometimes they get a little bit older than they should be, and I'm thinking of the Rocket Chat desktop client as one of those. So I can do a sudo snap find Rocket Chat, and it should tell us if there's a snap, and sure enough there is. There's a snap for Rocket Chat desktop is what we want, and not the server. So I'll go ahead and do a sudo snap install Rocket Chat desktop, and that'll go ahead and install the snap for Rocket Chat. Now that Rocket Chat desktop is installed, you can always do a sudo snap list to see which packages you have installed. And as an example, here's our Rocket Chat desktop client, and the desktop client is running at version 3.9.9. Now if I go ahead and click over here and click on Rocket Chat, you'll notice that it does take a little bit longer for Rocket Chat to come up, and from then on it starts more quickly. Of course, it's asking you for the server URL that you want to connect to. If I quit this and then turn around and launch it again, it will this time be faster than it was the first time, hopefully. And there we go. We can also remove a snap, and we can do that with the command sudo snap remove on Rocket Chat desktop. And if we move back here and say --purge, it will also remove any application data. But since we didn't have any application data, it will simply remove just the Rocket Chat desktop snap from the system. Now that the snap has been removed, we can do a sudo snap list, and it will no longer appear in the list. So let's go ahead and make our Ubuntu desktop Flatpak capable, and we can do that by doing a sudo apt, or I could do a sudo nala install on Flatpak. It'll go out there and search, and it says, yes, I found the Flatpak package. Do you want to go ahead and continue? And it even tells you everything that's going to install in order to enable Flatpak on this system. And that's why I like Nala. Now that I have Flatpak installed, I'm going to do a Flatpak search for Rocket Chat. And of course, it's going to come up and say no matches found. And the reason for that is because we have to specify at least one Flatpak repository. And we do that with the Flatpak remote-add. And it says if it doesn't exist, FlatHub. And this is the location for the FlatHub repo. So we go ahead and do that. It asks for my sudo password. It completes that. And now when I do a Flatpak search for Rocket Chat, it will come back and list the installation candidates for Rocket Chat. And now I can go ahead and install my Rocket Chat client through Flatpak by doing a Flatpak install of chat.rocket.rocket chat, which is what's listed up here as the application ID, and it says it's version 3.9.10. So it says, I found this. Is this the one you want to install? And I said, yes, it really is. And it will go ahead and tell me, proceed with the changes to your system. And it says, these are all the things that need to be installed. And I'll go ahead and say, yes. Now keep in mind, again, Flatpaks are installing into a protected container. And so therefore, it doesn't affect the rest of your system. And it brings down all the dependencies. The disadvantage to that is it takes more disk space and probably takes more memory when it's running. However, it's more likely to run than installing an application directly through apt. And I would do this if you had problems installing an apt-based application. And now that it's installed, if I simply do a Flatpak list, we can see the Flatpaks that are installed, and it calls out the particular ones on this system. If we click on the app drawer at this point, Rocket Chat appears, but it's a Flatpak installation this time, and I clicked on it, and it should launch here shortly. And there it is. And when you get this screen up, of course, you have to type your favorite Rocket Chat site, which is https://chat.scotti-BYTE.com, and then you're going to go ahead and connect, and that will ask for your username and your password. And if you're not currently registered, go ahead and register for a new username and password on my Rocket Chat. And if we want to go ahead and uninstall, we can always do a Flatpak uninstall on chat.rocket.rocketchat, and it will say proceed with these changes, and it will uninstall it from the system. If we turn around and do a Flatpak list, you'll see that Rocket Chat is no longer installed as a Flatpak. So circling back to the snaps momentarily, we can always do a sudo snap install on snap-store to install the Ubuntu Snap Store so that we can use snaps from a GUI as well. The Snap Store is normally installed by default as the Ubuntu Software Store, so if you go to Ubuntu Software, you may not have to install it. In any case, when you do installs up here and you also click on installs, it'll give you a list of the things that you have installed, and also it gives you an option sometimes to install things as a snap versus installing it as an apt package. We can also add the FlatHub GUI, and the way that we do that is with a sudo apt install on gnome-software-plugin-flatpak. And once it installs that, we'll also have a GUI interface to install our Flatpaks instead of using the command line. And to make use of that GUI, you simply head over to flathub.org, And once you get there, you can search for an app like Rocket Chat. And once it comes up, you can click on Rocket Chat, and then you can click on Install, and it will go ahead and do an installation. It does a download, and then if we scroll down the screen here, it will be continuing the installation, and eventually it'll come back. For some reason, I found this interface to be really slow. To me, it seems like it runs faster from the command line. Another way you can perform installs is to sometimes run over to sites like GitHub. And here, for example, I'm looking at the Rocket Chat current release of 3.9.10. And although I don't have a repository for that, it lists that as a deb file which can be installed from the command line. So I go ahead and I download that, and I minimize my browser, and I do a cd into downloads, do an ls, and there's the file. And I can do a sudo dpkg space -i, and then the name of that file. We'll go ahead and pick that up, copy it, and paste it in here, and that will go ahead and do an installation on that Rocket Chat 3.9.10 file as a deb file. And now that the installation is completed, I can click on the app drawer, and there's our Rocket Chat, which I can go ahead and launch. And this Rocket Chat should come up faster than either the FlatHub or the Snap installation. I can uninstall this version of Rocket Chat by doing a sudo apt remove Rocket Chat, and then just going ahead and saying yes, and it will deinstall the version that I installed from the downloaded file. When I click on the app drawer, you can see that Rocket Chat is now gone. Not all applications come with the Debian installation package that you can use with apt, nor do they come with a FlatHub package or even a Snap package. And in those particular cases, the application may come with what we call an app image. And in this particular situation here, I'm looking at the Jitsi desktop application for my Jitsi server that I have installed. And I do have a video, by the way, on installing Jitsi, which is a open source Zoom application, basically. But if we scroll down in this list, they give a Windows installation, a Mac OS installation. They give a Debian file here in the end, but they also provide an app image. And since I know I'm dealing with an AMD 64 image, I'll go ahead and download that. And now I have a copy of the app image here. So app images are different than Snap packages, and they're also different from other types of install packages because they don't need to be installed. You can just run them. That being said, when you download one, you want to go ahead and right-click on it and do a properties. And inside of properties, you want to click on permissions, and you want to click the option that says allow executing this file as a program. And then once you do that, you can simply double-click it, and it will launch the application without having to go through any installation process. So here's an example of running the Jitsi Meet desktop application, and I was able to download it and install it, and I did not need to install a Snap, and I did not need to install a Flatpak, and nor did I need to install a Debian package with apt. I simply installed or downloaded a package that's called an app image, which directly runs without the need for any type of installation, and it packages all of the dependencies inside of the one single file. So in summary, the apt package manager can install most applications easily and resolve dependencies. Nala is a great front end to apt. And snaps offer a broader range of applications than Flatpak. Flatpak apps usually have faster startup times, and app images are the easiest choice for a sandboxed option because no installation is required. Anyway, that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe and like to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.